The Syrian regime has been intensifying its offensive in the southwest province of Daraa. On Saturday, at least 5 civilians were killed in airstrikes on an opposition-held town. The United Nations says more than 160,000 people have been displaced and 119 civilians are estimated to have been killed since the offensive began on the 19th of June.
I have 2 daughters, and I don't know what to do for them. I'm worried about them. I'm afraid of the strikes.
There's no water. I'm responsible for about 25 people who are sitting in open air. I don't have any money. I have children to feed. Where should I go?
Today, 26 airstrikes on Busra al-Sham. Why is that? Why? Aren't we humans? We demand protection from the international community, which didn't fulfill its commitments. The Syrian people are bored. They are exposed to collective annihilation.
Well, TRT World has obtained exclusive footage of residents making their way to safety. Stacey Bivens reports.
Running for their lives and begging for help. These are some of the tens of thousands of people who have found shelter from shelling and airstrikes in Daraa province.
We don't have tents or water or any medicine. More than 2,000 families were displaced. Children don't have any shelter. We beg you, we need your help.
The internally displaced are seeking refuge in this hot, empty landscape in southwestern Syria. It borders both Jordan and the Golan Heights, occupied by Israel.
The land is spacious, but there's an extreme scarcity of tents. I cannot count the people who fled their homes and came near the border close to the occupied Golan to save their children from the Assad barrel bombs and missiles.
Opposition fighters are losing ground fast. They're outmatched by Russian airstrikes and artillery shelling by regime forces. Death and destruction are sweeping across Daraa. Witnesses fleeing the violence took these photos of damage to part of the Roman theater. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the town of Basra. The United Nations says that more than 160,000 civilians have fled Daraa since the regime began its offensive in the province last week. Regime forces focused on the region after recapturing eastern Ghouta outside Damascus. Daraa is now one of the last remaining rebel-held areas in Syria. But the regime appears on the verge of retaking it. The opposition will be forced out, but as usual in the war in Syria, civilians will be the real losers.